Hey guys, hope everything is good in the hood. Welcome back to Out of the Hood with Hamza, and this episode is a Teacher's Day special. Episode 22 is actually a recording of me with my friend Reema Rathod, who's a IB PYP teacher, and she's also a fitness and food enthusiast. And basically, the whole conversation is going to be about her journey becoming a teacher, the switch from being a student to a teacher, motivations in life, and different staff room banter. So stay tuned to live your childhood days once again. So this is episode 22 of Out of the Hood with Hamza. Welcome, Reema. And so this episode, the reason why I decided to have it is because recently I've become a teacher and I've started helping kids out with podcasting and stuff like that, and I realized that it's not an easy job. You need to sort of grasp their attention, make them understand where the value comes from, podcasting, for example. So before we dive right into the episode and talk more about teaching and different aspects of it, I want you to introduce yourself to my listeners.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Reema Rathod and I am an IB PYP teacher. And apart from teaching, I am into fitness, I love painting, and I also like cooking sometimes.
Wow, what do you like to cook?
Healthy food.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, no, that's one realization. I thought I'll mention it in this podcast when I'm usually going through reels and stuff, and there you see a lot of girls today doing heavy lifting and stuff, but in reality you were the first one, because this was my first gym that I joined. Really? So you were the first person who I saw, oh, this girl is lifting heavy types,
That is so good to know.
So that's something that I realized about you. So now going on to talk about the podcast and teaching exactly. What made you want to become a teacher, first of all? When was that first realization? Was it in school, college, later on life?
Okay, so when I used to go for tuitions and so of course we used to have these groups in the tuition. So there were these teachers who used to, so there was a sir and there was these teachers who used to manage those smaller groups.
Okay.
And I think because I was the older one there, and sometimes I used to get those little ones to come to me for some help and all of that.
Okay.
And I sort of really enjoyed that. But that was then, and I think once I went to college, I did my BMS. And I wanted to do my MBA.
Okay.
And I actually had already enrolled for the entrance exam, the classes and all of that. And I think that sort of, I was I need to take some time with that and not jump in directly into
teaching.
not into teaching, into doing my, I thought I should spend some time working at a corporate or get some internship or something like that and just see how it feels. And my brother happened to have his startup back then.
Okay.
This is almost 7 years ago. And he's like, why don't you join me? I think that was a very good opportunity for me to actually decide, is this what I want to do? And that's when I realized that this is not for me. Yeah, I couldn't sit in that. I couldn't do a desk job. I couldn't sit in one place kind of doing the same thing again, because again I was working in a startup, so there were different demands at that moment, so it was just not for me. So there came a point, I think I was 6 months into it, and there came a point I was like, I cannot do this, because I literally didn't have time to do anything else in life, and that's not how I wanted it to be for myself. I was lucky enough, I immediately did my research. I thought I need to just get into something, and that's when I decided I want to try teaching out as well, because I've had a little interest in that before. And and I joined this course in one of these schools, did that for 6 months, got my first job, and then there was no looking back.
It sounds pretty quick, but I'm sure the journey has been very long.
Of course it has.
Yeah, no, so how you said that you went for the startup and you realized that it's not at all for you.
Yeah.
When you entered teaching and maybe you gave your first ever classroom session or something like that, was it that? Did you have that moment that, okay, yeah, this is for me?
Definitely.
Was it the opposite?
Definitely. Yeah. So I think, of course, during our course and all, we had these lessons that we had to give at school. It was a part of our course.
Okay,
it was a internship only, again you can say. We had to give a few. And I think when I stepped into the class the first time, I thought just being with the kids and that interaction with them, I think that was a really good experience. And at that moment I was like, I want to give it this, I want to give this a try, like properly, and then sort of make a decision. So yeah, I was an assistant teacher at one of the schools, and then I think that's when I knew this is for me.
That's fab.
Yeah.
How has the switch been from being a student or teacher? Obviously you said that it's not the same board and stuff like that, but how has it been? Because for us, we as students were rascals. Like, we were very bad to our teachers and we had a lot of fun in school. But actually, now that you come on the other side, I realize that standing on the other side of the classroom is so bloody difficult.
Absolutely.
As a presenter, I'm saying, not a teacher.
Yeah.
But holding the audience's attention, there are these instances where I've been like explaining something, I have people talking to each other, and I'm always thinking, are they talking about me, or like, am I saying something else? So how's that switch been for you?
Yeah, I think it's been eye-opening, I would say, because now that I'm teaching a very different board, I come from a convent, so it is like, it's a major difference, especially with the way of teaching and just how much attention we give the kids. And I just wish that the things that I do in my class, I wish I had those back, in school when I was a student. Maybe I would have liked a certain subject more. Possibly. Just the way the things are done, because IB works in a very different way. It's very inquiry based, it's very hands-on. There's not much focus on content. It's very conceptual skills. It's developing your conceptual learning skills and stuff like that. Like, it's a lot more to do with all those things than just knowledge.
So like, are the kids more prepared when they come out of school comparison to maybe another board?
Definitely, because everything we do is very student-led, and there is a lot of real-life connection that we make with everything that we do.
Okay.
So yeah, they
very
definitely
different.
are.
Can't
and
relate
we develop those skills which are very essential for them, even as an adult, as a child. So I think in the long run, it's very beneficial for them to learn in this way. And it's more of, it's not that you have to do this. You have to learn history, even if I'm not interested in it. It's what you want to learn. So it's literally not what the teacher wants to teach. It's what the students want to learn. That's the whole philosophy.
You never had that option.
Exactly. You just had to do.
Yeah. Now that I hear, all my friends were from like IB and come from those other boards, and they share with me like whatever they had in their curriculum, and I'm always like, I would be so great at this or that. So maybe missed opportunity, but okay.
That's okay.
What do you think are what's the number one motivator for anybody to take up teaching today, in schools specifically?
It definitely has to be the kids.
Okay.
If you're a teacher, I think the first thing that should motivate you is to be around those learners and just, see them bloom and see them blossom in the way that they're supposed to. And I think if you don't love that interaction with the kids, I think it's very difficult to then sort of, to teach, I would say, because at the end of the day, you're spending the entire day with them, and it's just that interaction. You should just love that whole experience of being with them in class, and that's what I love the most.
Okay.
And I think it's just a very rewarding feeling also at the end of the day, even if like a child, if he does something really great that you've been sort of working with him, it's an achievement for you, So I think those are the biggest motivators. And I would personally say, because I teach really young kids, like 6 to 7 year olds, is the love that they give you.
Those cards that you put stories on.
Absolutely. You could be having the worst day in your personal life.
No.
And you would just go to school, and there they are, just, happily greeting you, and you just forget about everything else, because they're so loving and they're so innocent. And I've always had a great bunch of kids. So I think that is
that impact that you have in their life.
Definitely. And the love that you receive from them, I think that's the motivator for me, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and you said money is not at all one of the motivators.
Definitely not. If you want to become a teacher, I think that you don't really get paid that much.
Okay.
So.
And what do you think about like growth vertically, like coming into a teacher maybe where you are today at PYP, going to like a senior level? How many years do you think on average it takes?
It takes a while, honestly, because every school functions in a different way. They have different sort of levels that you grow in, depending on the school again. So, like after a teacher, you could be like a grade level leader, then you could be like a coordinator, get into the leadership. But it takes, I would say, like 20 years for you to reach somewhere.
Wow.
At that level, where you're sort of leading a school or something, it takes a while. Yeah.
Okay.
But there are a lot of other things you can do while you're teaching. But I think many teachers have a personal choice of being in the classroom. Currently, that's how I feel.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to leave the classroom anytime soon, even if I get the opportunity to sort of move ahead with, but yeah, I think it's what you like also at the end of the day, like, because for me it's the classroom and being with the kids. That's what
you like.
Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Going on to a little, like, on the fun side of being a teacher, maybe, if that's what I can call it. I asked you yesterday about like a story that you can share, a fun story, embarrassing story, being a teacher or of a kid in the classroom that sort of you found funny, or then it was like haunting, either or. So if there's one story like that, which one would it be?
So I won't say like I have a story or something, but every other day there is something silly that the kids will say, which is just out of innocence, and it's hilarious.
Okay.
So I'll share an experience that happened.
Do you laugh that time?
Yeah, I'm just laughing and then everyone's laughing and looking at me.
Okay.
It's very funny.
Okay.
So we were having a discussion about a unit, and someone said something like baby showers, and people go out, like they celebrate during baby showers, and there was this girl in my class and she just went like, she heard baby.
I think I know her.
Yeah, she said baby, and she just called me. I'm like, Miss Reema, I'm scared. Is it okay to have a baby? And I'm just like, she's like, is it okay to have a baby? I'm too scared to have a baby, and I just couldn't stop laughing. The innocence and the way she said it, and I'm just like, relax.
Kids are ambitious.
There's a long time for you to do that, and it's your choice. I didn't say this, but in my mind I was it's a choice if you don't want to have a baby, you're too scared. And I'm like, we are scared, to have a baby.
Yeah.
It was very funny, and they're too random. Okay, they would like randomly do something, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, actually, if you just hear two of them ever talking to each other, now there are such funny conversations.
I've had this one child ask the other child, do you like my poop? And he constantly kept saying that. It's early in the morning. Do you like my poop? And I'm just like,
why? Is it like you took him to the washroom?
I don't know. And I was just like, what are you?
Or was he drawing poop on a paper or something like that?
No, I mean, these boys, they go together to the washroom, and they have their washroom party, and then one of them just comes running and they're like, oh, miss, so and so is having a washroom party, and I'm just like, but that one kid kept on asking that kid, do you like my poop? Do you like my poop? And I'm just there sitting, I'm like, what are you asking him? Like, why are you asking?
You can't even react the way that you want to. Like, otherwise you would react in a different way. Being a teacher, you can't react in that way.
First of all, it's hilarious. Okay, so the first thing is, I'm just like trying to control my laughter, and then I'm like, what are you saying?
Do you go and share this ahead in like the staff room or something like that?
So in my current school, we don't like have a staff room concept.
Okay.
We're always with the kids. In our free classes, we have like a teacher lounge where it depends, like, because not everyone's not free at the same time, depending on our classes, but we can go there and chill. But of course, in our meetings and all, we do share some funny experiences that we have with our kids, and everyone's having a good laugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like for us in school also, I think you can relate also that the staff room was like uncharted territory. Like you can't go there, teachers are having some deep discussion. So as kids, we always wondered that what's happening inside,
Yeah.
So what do you think teachers are actually discussing there? Are they discussing kids, things that are happening? Because for a matter of fact, I knew that there were few teachers in school that always are discussing which kids are going around together and stuff. That was one hot topic in our school that always happened. What do you think, like?
See, because I'm not dealing with our age group.
Okay.
Honestly, we don't discuss our kids like that.
Okay.
We cannot discuss kids unless there's
that's a school policy.
Yeah, you cannot be discussing a child of their
personally
behavior or anything.
stuff like that.
That's a very
that's good.
Like a teacher thing to sort of you to manage with. But I think we're always discussing like plans for the next day, what we need to do.
So study.
Fun things, and even otherwise, like in our personal lives, what we are doing, and making plans to go out or hang out after school, stuff like that.
Okay, y'all hang out together.
We haven't started because it's just the start of the year, but we're kind of making plans to that. Like we do that.
Oh,
in
nice.
Previous year, like we teachers used to hang out together and anything at school, but
Okay, that's
mostly the discussion that we have. Mostly it's work.
Oh, nice. So, like, when it comes to parents, when like they have their kids and they're gonna put them into like they have to make a decision as to which school or what to put them into. Uh, this is something that I don't think I've discussed with you. But do you think like there are some factors that they should keep in mind uh, when they are deciding on a school for their kids? What do you think are 3-4 key factors that like every school should have that would be super beneficial for the child?
Yeah, I think it just honestly it depends on the board that you're teaching in, because we're not like a traditional school. We do things very, very differently than other schools do. So if you're a parent who's come from a traditional background, like the schools that we've gone through, and you've seen them doing crazy amount of math and language and writing and all that, it's not for you.
Okay.
Because as parents, you really need to have that open mind about where I'm putting my child, like which school am I putting, what are the ideologies of that school or that board, and what do I want my child to, like how do I want my child to be in life, like what kind of learning I want to give him or her. That's the bottom line. So I think parents of course need to research a little bit about the philosophy of the board and what like especially in IB school and what our focuses are, and then accordingly make a decision of where they would like the child to go. Yeah.
And do you see schools now, especially IB schools, because I know they are a little further ahead, taking on new skills that kids require today? Because I hear this complaint with a lot of people is that school is right, but people are becoming more and aware and they're like, okay, kids need to learn life skills like financial management and
that's
this and
what
that.
we do.
Yeah, so
that's exactly what our board is all about. It's
okay.
very practical. It's very after a certain age you can literally pick the subjects you are interested in, and you want to, like middle school and all that, you can pick what you want to do. DP, it's like diploma program that we have. You can pick what you want to do. It's a lot of ownership. So it's like I said, it's what you want to learn.
Back to school, man.
What you want to learn and not what I want to teach as a teacher. Yeah, it's more of that.
Oh, fab.
Yeah.
Okay, this is most of the questions regarding teaching. Now we'll go on to you a little bit. There's this question I ask all my guests. Like they have to answer it because the whole podcast it's a conversational podcast with the idea of taking away something from the person that is coming and sharing it with the others, because you have a different life journey from everyone else.
Yeah.
So for you, my question that I ask everyone is that what is that one life learning as an individual, irrespective of your role as a teacher, as an individual in life, that you would recommend to anybody younger than you, that okay, this is one learning I'll tell you to keep with you for the rest of your life because it will be beneficial to you XYZ ways. So what do you think that is for you?
Okay, so one learning that I think that I also follow myself is to take one day at a time.
Okay.
Just do not rush into things because you feel like you're missing out and time's running out and everyone's doing something and you're not there. I feel everyone has their own timelines, and I always say that, and
That's
you need to take your time to figure things out for yourself. Do not do something that you're really not into it and later on you're regretting it, So I just feel like spending some time with yourself and sort of understanding what your likes, what your dislikes are, and then sort of gradually moving in life like that, I think will really help you rather than just seeing what people do. Because I think sometimes you get so caught up,
That's true.
And it could be for multiple reasons that you want to do something that others are doing. Could be money or whatever it is, But I feel at the end of the day, you should feel satisfied that, okay, I love what I'm doing, and you have made that decision and nobody's pressurize you in any way to do that. So I think that is something I truly believe in, and I believe in being patient.
Okay, I'm learning how to do that, but yeah, because
I have to
this...
be because I'm a teacher. Yeah, that's
it
the
comes
number
from
one
there.
thing. Yeah.
Because I maybe 1 year back, if you would see every new thing that I saw happening in front of me or some friend doing, I wanted to do it.
Yeah, again, saying that, but of course that doesn't mean that you do not venture out. Right? Try a lot of things.
Yeah.
Please,
No,
I mean, yeah. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You put your hands in everything if you want to. But ultimately, you need to make a decision that, okay, this is what I like out of all these things. Not because, someone else is doing it. That's what I mean.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying is because when I would see it, like I had things set in life, I know what I wanted to do, but always there was that FOMO because somebody else would be doing something that I even found a little interesting, and I would be like, no, I have to do that as well, and that, and then what I decided to do never happened,
Yeah.
So no, one step at a time. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
and I think that's what happened with me. Like back in college, I was so because I saw my brother, like he has done his MBA and he's making like good amount of money and all of that. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Whatever reason, but then eventually I realized like I can't do this. This is not for me. I could have my reasons for that, but this is not for me.
Well, if not money, at least you have blessings on your head from good parents.
I do, and I have like very loving kids. I think that's so important, right? I mean, to feel loved. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So.
I think that's all about it from this episode. Great high five.
Yay.
For a good one. Closer to the mic so it's louder.
Okay.
Okay, good one. And if any of my listeners in this episode, by chance you're a parent and you're deciding as to where you want to put your kid, you can contact Reema and maybe she can answer a few questions that you have because she's an expert at this. You can see that clearly from this podcast episode.
Really.
So and that's about it from this episode. I'll see you all at the future podcast. Bye.
Bye.